In this section, we focused on opening files, measuring files, different ways that you can do that, and even merging a design into another design. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about fitting a design to a hoop. And this is something that's been mentioned before, but in a previous video, but I want to go over it again because this is something that we might do whenever we open up a design. So I have a design open right here, and if I go ahead and I click on my hoop, you'll see it'll bring up the view of the last hoop that I used. So I can select this entire design. I can move it to make sure that it fits within, and you can see that it doesn't quite fit. It fits most of the way, but not all the way. And I can have this selected, and there's a tool that we have that's called Fit to Hoop, and it's an icon right here up in the top center, and it says Fit to Hoop. I can just click that icon, and now it's going to fit it within the hoop. And so if I choose a bigger hoop, right here, you select the hoop right here, you can choose a different hoop. Right now I'm at a 100 by 100. I can come down here and I could choose something like maybe a 200 by 200. So I'm going to have a much larger hoop. I can select it all. You must select it all and then hit Fit to Hoop, and it will fit it inside the hoop. Now, just because you can do this doesn't mean you should always do it. This is where resizing comes in, and you have to understand how far you can resize a design. When you're working with a design that you create in the software and it's a WAF format, you have a lot more flexibility on how far you can resize the design. And the reason is because that design is going to have the outlines, and the software will know everything that's been done to it because you created it in the software. So the outlines, you can see all the outlines as I click and drag. It's just those black lines there. Because it has all of that, it can regenerate the stitches as it makes it larger. So it keeps, the property is pretty similar, and then it just reapplies and adds what it needs to. And if I make it smaller, it'll actually take stitches out. So for instance, if I come back in here and I choose the hoop 100 by 100 and I hit OK, now if I select the design again, I can hit Fit to Hoop, and it's going to make the design smaller, and it's going to fit it within the hoop. But it's going to keep the same look. That's kind of how it works. So fitting to hoop is an option. You can always change the hoop by coming in here and selecting a different size. So let's go in here now and let's see what happens, because this is something that you kind of need to understand about the Fit to Hoop feature. This is a design. Okay, so what happens if we come over here and we're working with an image and we turn this on? Well, I can't really select it, so I can't fit it to the hoop because I'm working with an image now. So it's important to know that it's not going to fit the image within the hoop. And so not only that, but actually I can't select the hoop and move it. I can't select the design and move it. So I can't center this butterfly inside of this hoop. I'm just wanting to point that out so you understand how it works. Now let's go to the artwork. So this is artwork on a design page, and if I click the hoop, you can see that it's right there. Now let's see what happens. If I select all of the artwork, you'll notice that the Fit to Hoop icon shows up. It's not grayed out. So if I click it, it will actually fit it to the hoop. And one of the things to point out here, you can see that it kind of goes, this is like kind of a little lesson within a lesson here, but you can see that it goes over the edge of the hoop right here. And the reason for that is because if I select this piece right here, you'll notice that it has a pin width of 2. And that means that it's kind of like a steel stitch. It's a one center line. It's not it doesn't have a line on each side. So if I click and drag it, notice that I only have one line. It's in the middle of the selection. So let me go back here. So if I come over here and I change this to 0, you'll notice that it fits perfectly within the hoop. It's just because there's a stroke or pin width applied to it that it's going over the edges. So just something to want to point out there, because that can affect what you see here. So that's how you work with fit to hoop. You can use it with embroidery designs and you can use it with artwork, but it does not work with images. So hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.